The ball-bearing bird has never been seen, has never been heard.
Hiya, welcome back to the channel. So as you can see, we have a lovely Citroen C1 and it's jacked up in the shitter position with that wheel off the floor. And the reason for that is, and I don't know how well you're picking that up on camera, but that wheel bearing is very rumbly. In fact, on the motorway I can hear it over the exhaust, which isn't quite in its own right. So this video I'm gonna be hopefully changing that, and I hope it's not going to be too much of a fuck about, because it's freezing cold and in all honesty I'm not really in the mood to do it, but I need to do it, so I want to get on with it. Through the diagnosis process, by the way, I'll just explain why I know that wheel bearing is the problem. One, because it's noisy. Two, because when I'm driving it and I turn left, it goes quieter when it unloads that bearing. If I go right, it goes louder when it loads that one up. So that points to it being on the left hand side of the car. And three, it was advised on the MOT, so that sort of give it away a bit. So yeah, I'm gonna get the wheel off and then I'll come back. And now that's out the way, which was unnecessarily tight, let's take this drum off, which normally you'd have like a screw there holding it on, but mine's long gone. And then if it's really tight, you can stick some M8 bolts into there and tighten them up, and it'll work like a puller and pull the drum off. But this hasn't been off that long ago, so it should come off without that. But it might not do. Yes. And now that is off, we can actually feel directly the bearing, which is noisy and gritty, to be honest with you, so that is what we need to replace. Now to get that off, this is a whole hub which should just unbolt. If we go around to the back of it, we can see that we've got these bolts here which just bolt into the hub. First though, we need to take that ABS sensor out, which is all nice and lovely and clean and not rusty at all. And after a bit of archaeology, I believe that was once a T30, so I've knocked a T30 into it, whether it was that or not anyway. So let's try tighten it up a little bit first. Feels like it moved. And then we'll try and undo it, because yes, well that came out easier than I expected. Yes. And the ABS sensor itself, believe it or not, is quite free, and I think that's because, unlike on most cars, it's sat into plastic, so it's actually come out quite easily. And so now that's successfully out the way and in a safe place, we need to take these 4 bolts out, which seems to be, once upon a time they were 12mm. So I need to undo all those, and then this should lift out. I shouldn't have to touch any of this, it should just lift out the centre of it, I'm hoping, but we'll find out. Yes, so now I've got one left, which is that one down there. Those two, which are nice and easy to get at, they didn't put up much of a fight, they're nice and free actually. That one down there, that was borderline rounding off, so I had to knock a socket onto it, and I had to put an extension on it, and then a long extension so I could hit it from over there with an hammer to shock the bolt, really, to stop it from snapping or rounding off. I mean, it doesn't matter if it snaps because it goes into this, so I can just put a new bolt in it if it snaps, but I'd rather it didn't. So now I've just got this one to do, which is probably also going to be a pain in the dick because it's a bit more awkward to get to. It's not the end of the world, it's just more awkward to get to than these ones, which were typically nice and easy. Yes. So now we've got all the bolts. Well, the two bottom ones are out completely, the two top ones are cracked off, and if they are putting up more of a fight where you are struggling with it, you can get a bolt this part, zoom in there, you can see where the bolt comes through, and that's where you need to warm up if you're going to do that. But fortunately I didn't actually need to do that this time. So I need to take these 2 bolts out, and now we're ready to carefully remove this hub, which should just be held in by whatever rust and shit is on that bit. And that isn't actually coming out as easy as what I hoped it would, so I've got some specialist tools in the form of some penetrating fluid and a bigger hammer. And this is taking more effort than I was hoping to have to put into it, but I have got it moving. So if we look down at that bit there where it's got that nice shiny bit on it, that is from me putting the punch against that bit and twatting it to try and, instead of knocking it out, I'm trying to twist the whole thing around to free it up. Yes. And now it's pretty much off, it's just stuck on this back plate, so I need to lever it out of that. And then hopefully it should just pull out. Yes. And now that is nice and gently removed, we're pretty much ready to fit this new one. Obviously make sure it's the same as the old one, but not fucked before you do try and fit it. But first, I am going to give this a quick clean up, just to try and make the job a little bit easier. And then when we're satisfied with the cleanliness and have sufficient lubrication involved, then we should be able to fit this back in there. Now this ABS doofer, this was at the top if you remember, so just remember to do that and line up all these holes, the holes in the back plate and in the axle. Oh, that went, yeah, that went in quite a lot easier than the other one came off. And then now we just need to put these bolts back in. Now if you have new bolts, use new bolts. I haven't got new bolts, but it looks like these did once upon a time have some thread lock on them, so I'm putting some new thread lock on them just to try and minimise the chance of these bolts falling out and then the wheel falling off. And then not forgetting to tighten up to a pre-designated manufacturer specified torque setting. Click. And then obviously, not forgetting to put the ABS sensor back in, which just pushes in nice and easily. And then we put the bolt back in. Should probably get a new one, but upcycling's all the rage at the moment, so we'll do that instead. And we'll reuse our old one. Yes. 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 And now we are pretty much done. Obviously I need to put this drum back on. It should just go on nice and lovingly. Make sure I line up these holes so I can get the wheel back on. Something like that. And then we can refit and torque up the wheel. And it's quiet. So I'd say that that is a great success. Anyway, I think that's all for this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the usual shit, and I'll see you next time.